Hey, by the way, tonight's game, New York wins that outright.
You know he's on top. Million subs, he never gonna flop. Out of Chicago, where the streets don't sleep. Betting on games, making cash real deep. Crystal ball for sports, he knows the lines. He's a sports aficionado, the money he finds. From football to basketball, he's always on point. Predicting winners never disappoints. He's got that hustle, that Chicago vibe. Making moves on the streets, cash on the side. With E, you know it's always a bet. He's the king of the game, never forget.
Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports Show for December 3rd. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. Absolutely loaded episode for you today. My boy Wade from Top Flight Wagers. He's coming on. Him and I are going to look back at week 13, share our week 14 bets. Plus, Gino will have his horse racing bet of the day. But before we get into all that, I'd like to say thank you to the sponsor of the show, Boom Fantasy. If you're not using Boom Fantasy, go to the App Store, download the app, use promo code ETOFT21. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. Also, visit justouttennis.store. Use promo code ETOFT21 for 10% off store wide. Make sure to check those guys out. Doing some good stuff over there. Now, Gino, bigger horse racing weekend over Aqueduct with the Cigar Mile. Let's see which horse he has us betting on in this week's horse racing bet of the day.
It's a big day of racing on Saturday over at Aqueduct. It's the Cigar Mile, the Grade 2 Cigar Mile. It's going to go as race number 9. I'm going to dive into the daily racing form, past performances. This is the place where you get all the research information before you want to bet on the races. So drf.com is the place to go. Let's look at Saturday, December the 7th, Aqueduct's race number 9. I'm going to go to Locked in here. Locked was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile favorite last year. So in November of last year, over a year ago, he was third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile behind Fierceness and Muth. Coming out of that race, he had a bunch of issues throughout the year. Back in, I think, February, he had a knee issue, ligament issue, where he was forced to miss a bunch of time. So he finally got back to the races in October, and he was really good. He matured, he grew up, he's lightly raced, he has a ton of upside. The only problems that he's really had, he had physical issues that caused him to miss a bunch of time, but he's back. He looks like he's really, really matured, and I think he's ready to take a big step forward. Second start off the long layoff. Locked. We like the number 7, Locked in the Cigar Mile. Remember, with these daily racing form past performances, you can get a look at different types of past performances. These Timeform US ones give you a pace projector, and they show you where horses might be projected throughout the race. So Locked, sitting mid-pack. They think it's going to be a fast pace in here. Good luck to everyone playing the races this week. Good luck to everyone playing the NFL games this week. Anytime you need anything, make sure you check in with Eric before you make a wager.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow on Blue Sky at It's Me Gino B and on X. I'll be on his podcast every single week talking NFL, NBA, college basketball, and whatnot. Now, let's bring this week's special guest onto the show, my boy Wade from Top Flight Wagers. Wade, besides that disgusting shirt, how you doing today, my man?
Hey, man, that hat looks pretty nice on you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it.
I'm doing well, man. It's been a slow going week, but I'm ready to get back into it a little bit here. So.
How was your holiday, man?
It's not too bad. Had a little small family gathering. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Went up to the old MI and, survived. Did a little manual labor for my parents. Didn't kill myself. So that was, that was good. A little disappointed. I thought we were going to fry the turkey this year. I've never had a fried turkey. Never.
Yeah.
You seem like a turkey fryer.
I have had it one time. I'm actually a turkey smoker. I've got the Traeger, so I've been smoking turkeys for the past couple of years.
You are a fancy mofo, that is for sure, my friend. Those watching, basically what we do, chat room is open. You have any questions, fire it away. Wade and I will make sure that we answer them. Bobby times in, nice hit on Cal. Sports Facts, I thought they're going to pull that out. Northeastern to the bank. Let's make some money. Big UFC fight card this weekend. Looking forward to see what you guys are betting. Those who don't know, Wade is on my podcast every single time there's a UFC card. Pay-per-view, I believe, this weekend, right?
Yep, 310.
310. So Wade will be on it this weekend. So looking forward to picking your head about that. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk NFL. We each have a takeaway from the previous week, plus 3 bets. Wade, why don't you kick us off and share what your takeaway is? Excuse me.
Yeah, I guess I just keep being impressed by the Eagles. I'm not really sure why at this point, but since their blowout loss to the Buccaneers, even though they really haven't had the toughest schedule, I'll say if you look at who they've beaten since then, they haven't really beaten that many good teams. I think it's really going to come down to them and the Lions to who's going to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. I'm a big Vikings fan. I just don't think they'll be able to. I think their quarterback is just going to be the issue at the end of the day. And man, the way Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley are playing right now, and the way that whole team is playing, it's going to be a good game with the Lions. I don't really know who I would pick right now if I had to choose between those two. I'm not even sure what the line would be. Maybe I'd probably put -2.5 for the Lions if I had to make a line right now. But man, I might take the Eagles +2.5 if that was the line right now.
You're a hater, dude.
I know. I love the Lions, man. I actually wish they would make it and win. I wish if the Vikings didn't win the Super Bowl, I wish the Lions would finally win one. But the Eagles, dude, they won't go away. I don't know what to say. They won't go away.
I think that's going to be a hell of a game. My only fear with them is Nick Sirianni. I think he could do something stupid.
Yeah, sure. 100%. I agree.
And also,
which is kind of why I'm shocked they're here right now. I don't really believe in their coaching. I just can't believe they're doing this again.
I mean, I think they made a huge coaching upgrade with oh my God, Vic Fangio in the back.
Sure.
He's been great. He's one of the best DCs. That's helping everything out. Those young guys they drafted, those DBs are hitting. Jalen Carter's taking that next step forward. We really haven't seen, though. I thought this offense was going to be more downfield with bringing in Kellen Moore, but this has been the Saquon Barkley show. And my fear with that is Barkley's got an injury history. Is he going to be able to stay healthy for the whole season? They're riding him a lot, but also I feel like they got back to their roots. When Sirianni first came aboard and they made their push to the playoffs kind of unexpectedly, they were running the ball over 30 times a game. They kind of got away with that. Now this year, I feel like they've gotten to the roots of looking to run the ball more, hence the success they've been having.
Well, I mean, also I think with Smith and Brown missing so much time, they really haven't been able to find any cohesiveness on offense. And if you're trying to pass the ball downfield and find timing and find success, it's going to be hard if you guys are constantly missing games. So I think they've almost had to lean on the run.
How can I word this? Then their offense is great with A.J. Brown. Like A.J. Brown, you look at their splits with and without A.J. Brown, it has been absolutely
sure.
My takeaway, the Bengals defense is wasting Joe Burrow's MVP season. I really don't think people understand how good of a season Burrow is having. An MVP type season. He's leading the league in passing yards, 3,337. 30 TDs, also leading the league, and only has 5 interceptions. The Bengals are 4-8. 2 games up on having the worst record in the league. Listen to this. There has been 20 games this season when a quarterback has had 300 yards and 3 TDs passing. Burrow has 5 of them. The Bengals in those games, guess what their record is? 0-5.
Ooh, I was going to say 1. I thought they at least won one of those.
There has been 7 times that a quarterback through 12 games has had 30 TDs. You add up all those records. They have 9 combined losses. Burrow this season has 8. If the Bengals defense would be anything, they would be in the hunt, and Burrow would be getting some serious consideration for the MVP. Just listen to these numbers. DVOA, the defense, 29th. Passing defense, 30th. Rush defense, 25th. PFF, defensively, 27th. Coverage grade, 27th. Pass rush, 27th. Tackling, 23rd. Run defense, 19th. This defense is awful. It's costing Burrow an MVP. It's costing the Bengals a playoff appearance and potentially a last Super Bowl run because T. Higgins is done. This core is deteriorating. And probably, let's be honest, Zach Taylor's job. This defense is one of the worst defenses in the league. And the Bengals were cheap. They didn't plan and they didn't take care of the secondary needs that they need. And it's just one of those things. They totally wasted it. Remember a couple years ago when they made that Super Bowl? Everyone was like, they'll be back. Windows can close soon because people want their money and teams don't know how to manage the salary cap. And it pains me to say this. We're seeing this with the Bengals, and I don't think they're ever going to get back to that Super Bowl level.
It's tough, man. Got a family member, my sister, who's a huge diehard Bengals fan, so I got to hear it quite a bit. I get it, man. I get it. It's sad. It's actually pretty sad to watch their offense be wasted like this. It's not fair, I guess. Honestly, that's kind of the right word to put it, at least for the offense.
They didn't plan, like literally, and I'm spacing on the DC's name, but when they were good, they had Bates and all those guys in the back that can cover man to man. Now all those guys are gone, and they didn't do a good enough job replacing them. And the guys they brought in have been benched. So it's just been one train wreck after another for the Bengals. Question
what
here
do you
from
think Go ahead.
I see you posting live bet slips during an NFL Sunday on X. Where do you post those? I will be honest, I try to post them in my Discord, but that's just me just gambling on a Sunday. I don't sell bets. I kind of do my thing, you know. It was nice, dude. Like I hit the Titans plus 29.5, was able to hit the Eagles plus 7.5 when they went down 9 early. And I hit the Colts plus 290.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, live betting was great for me this Sunday. And that's just kind of some stuff, you know, I've been looking to do when I'm able to actually lock in and be around a TV on a Sunday and not doing manual labor at my parents' place because they're old. So, but that's what being a good son is, Wade. You know, stepping up, buddy.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I actually offered my parents to help them with their Christmas decorations and everything. So I took
There was
off.
a snowstorm in Michigan, and my mom was FaceTiming me quarterbacking what to do when she was in the nice warm house, and I was freezing my ass off. It was a nice experience.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was going to ask if you were running the Bengals, what would you do in the offseason to fix this so that they can keep this going?
Jesus, dude.
I mean, is there like one or two things they can do to flip this back to?
They need to
Obviously, their offense is good. Their offense is fine.
But you're losing Higgins, the kid you picked to be his replacement from Alabama. He's not showing up to team meetings. I just really think the whole scouting department and the GM position, that's the place that needs the issues. You need to shore up the secondary. You got to decide what you're going to do with Hendricks. Are you going to re-sign him or are you not going to re-sign him? Because if you're not going to re-sign him, then you need to get that pass rusher. We've seen it before. These defenses that are good have these elite pass rushers that could get to the quarterback. You need that. And I really feel that this was the first year Callahan left to be the coach of the Titans. This is the first year where they've lost some assistant coaches. They had a couple assistants that left to go with Callahan to Tennessee, and that all that cohesiveness is gone that they've had for a couple of years. And I think we're starting to see some cracks because it seems to me a lot more people are complaining. Honestly, what they should have done is they probably should have traded T. Higgins, get some assets for him, get a draft pick or two. Then you could look to build and add some young talent because you're going to have to play so much money to Burrow, so much money to Chase. You're going to have to make sure you have a lot of rookie contracts, and you need to make sure your scouting department and GM is on point to get everything going together. So that's what I would do. I would change the scouting department, have that be a lot more tighter, fire the GM, get someone else in there. It blows my mind. I think Louis Riddick is insane. I have no idea. Maybe he just wants to be on ESPN. That would be the guy I would look to go get. because I think he can evaluate talent.
Yeah, I'm surprised he has not taken a job yet. I agree with that.
That's kind of something that's always stood out. But that's what I would do. What would you do if you were in charge of the Bengals?
I really don't know. I just wanted to hear your opinion. It's I was gonna say it's not close enough to a point yet where you're gonna blow things up, clearly. But what you said is so many things. I don't think that doesn't sound like a 1-year fix to me. That sounds like a 3-year fix to me, a 5-year fix to me. So at that point, you might as well start shipping off some high end talent to bring back some prospects. I just don't know if Joe Burrow wants to be around for a short rebuild, if you want to say that.
I mean, you're looking at it right now. Like, all right, so Hendricks is 30.
I don't know if they're going to re-sign him. So then they had to prioritize that, and that's not even really what they need to prioritize. So that just causes a whole nother problem.
And then like I didn't understand the draft pick of Mims. You had a guy that was a project at Georgia, couldn't finish games.
Yeah, sure.
Couldn't finish the season, and you draft him to be a starting offensive lineman to protect Burrow, which you needed to do because he's been banged up so much. That was just a brutal pick. There was other offensive linemen on the board at that time you could have went with. Which brings me back to my point. I think they just need someone else in there calling the shots, but more importantly, calling better shots.
Sure.
Being in order.
I like it.
So no pressure, man. We've been on a tear with betting. We are 44-24-1 for the season. Let's go ahead. Let's see how we did last week. 5-1 last week with Jim hitting the Cowboys -3.5, the Raiders +12, but lost the Titans +5.5. Old Uncle Rico hit the Packers -3, Neighbors over 55.5 receiving yards, and the Steelers +3 for the show. We are 44-24-1 on the season. I mean, a business casual 20 games over. Just a business casual, dude. Just business casual, dude. That's what we do.
Cha-ching.
Just business casual. We each have 3 bets, and you know what? We're going to Thursday Night Football, man. We each have a play here. Why don't you tell us what your first bet is?
I'm going to give out a prop for my first bet. I'm going to go Jameson Williams over 46.5 receiving yards. I believe I was just on outlier.bet, and I think it has moved to 47.5 receiving yards. I'd still take that. I'd probably take this up over 50, to be honest with you. This is cashed in 7 of 10 this season, 4-5 at home, had 51 last game against Green Bay. He actually also owes me for failing to reach 40 last week when I had him in a Thanksgiving Day parlay where he is the only leg that did not cash. So, I'm just going to go back and run him again. I actually really like this matchup where I think the Packers should be focusing more on St. Brown, Laporta, and stopping Monty and Gibbs. He has big playability. He's known for his speed and his ability to take the top off of a defense where Green Bay's secondary has shown vulnerability against explosive plays. I think the great game script here, I don't believe there's going to be a blowout. So I do think we could see a closely contested divisional battle, which should increase the likelihood of Goff passing. And we've seen him being able to feed his receivers pretty efficiently. And what I like about Williams is the fact that he's very efficient himself. He only needs a couple catches, even maybe one, to actually hit this. So that's mainly one of the reasons why I like this play. Even if he sees a moderate level of involvement in the game plan, 3 catches, 4 catches, three targets, 4 targets, that could be enough. 2 catches, 3 catches on 4 targets, something like that. He could bust a big one, and I think this is just too low for him. He's been cashing this pretty regularly, so I think it's a pretty safe play for a prop.
It could be one play, dude. Like literally, it could be one catch. That's it. With the explosive that he brings, like you hit the nail on the head. He's going to take the ceiling off of the defense. He's their deep threat. If they pinch in, it's going to open stuff up when you're going to have the safeties cheating in to help the middle with St. Brown and Laporta. My bet in the Thursday night football game, and you look, I got the Lions on.
Man.
But you know what? I'm taking the Green Bay Packers plus 3.5. I love my Lions. I have been a Lions fan forever, and I have no idea what to do with them actually winning. And I'm not used to this, but I like to make money. I think this is a spot you have to fade them. I think they're just too beat up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Hutchinson, Elizondo, Rodriguez, Rakestraw, all on the IR, plus 4 starters missed on the defensive side, missed practice today, and Carlton Davis was limited. They're insanely banged up. They are signing players left and right from off the streets and the practice squad. I know people are pumped up for Alexander and Adams, but last time I checked, it's 2024. There's a reason Adams was sitting on his couch and not on a roster, and Alexander was on the Broncos practice squad. This defense has been great and overachieving since Hutchinson went out, but I think this is just too many injuries to overcome. LaFleur, 50, 40, and 40 ATS in his career, 58%. As a dog, 22 and 11, 67%. Road dog, he is 16 and 7, 70%. On Thursdays, so on a short week, he is 63% against the number. When you look at the box score, these last time these two teams played, the Packers won the box score. You got to be shocked they didn't cover. Almost outgaining the Lions by 200 yards. Had 1.9 more yards per play, more passing yards, more rushing yards. The defense they had a special teams touchdown and a Love pick six. I'm really worried about the Lions secondary. They're allowing the 25th most passing yards per game. Arnold, PFF graded 107th corner in nickel coverage. Roberts is PFF graded 91. I think the Lions are going to struggle to defend all those Packers wide receivers. Packers are 12th DVOA defending the run and allowing the 8th fewest yards. I think they're going to be able to limit Monty and Gibbs in the run game. I think with the injuries on the Lions defense, I think this is kind of where they add up here. I think the Packers are going to be able to move the ball in the air. Give me the Green Bay Packers here plus 3.5. Random, do you have any college basketball futures? I'm not going to lie. Right now, I have literally none. Do you have any, my friend?
Me, no. I don't have any college basketball futures.
Dude, you look like you're in some deep-ass thought right there, dude.
I am just on Twitter. I'm on Twitter just looking at something.
So I'm giving my heartfelt Packers breakdown, and you're just on Twitter just going through porn?
I'm actually retweeting our stuff here, but no, actually I listened to everything you said. I've been thinking about taking Love's passing yards this week. I'm just not sure. He's
miss. And I mean, I really feel that that's kind of the thing we need to remember with these quarterbacks. My big thing with the Texans, and I'll be honest, I did bet the Texans not to make the playoffs, and I feel they've been awful this year. These quarterbacks, I think these young quarterbacks, after they have a good season, I think we need to look to fade them the next season. CJ Stroud, vastly underperformed. Jordan Love, vastly underperformed. So what does that say about next season? Next season, who is the quarterback we need to fade? Jaden Daniels. I think next season, we need to look to fade Jaden Daniels, have it be in his passing yards total, maybe rushing yards total, because it's going to be a little bit higher just based on what everyone has saw. And we need to remember the level of coaching in the NFL. I really don't think people comprehend how deep it is. And there's going to be more film on him that gets out there. And that's what's happening to Stroud and Love. And I just feel that's what's going to happen to Daniels. And real quick.
Yeah, I like that thought process. You've kind of been mentally against Daniels for a while anyways, and that whole team. Really, you've been thinking they've been overachieving for a while.
Dude, they're so overachieving. It's not even funny. Let me tell you this, dude. Let me tell you my other thought here. Okay. So last week, I think I texted you this. I bet Evans his over total. I bet him over yards, over 100 yards, and I bet him 22-1 to have the most receiving yards on the day on Sunday. Lost by 1 yard. this is my thought process with Evans to close the season. He has gone on many interviews saying how important it is to close the season having over 1,000 yards.
I have a future on that, so I hope he does.
For that to happen, he needs to average 95.8 yards per game. So I know for me, what I'm doing right now to close the season. No, I'm doing the Evans over in every game. It's going to be high 50s, low 60s.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Then I'm going to do an adjusted one over 90 and an adjusted one over 100.
All right, I'll do it too.
There you go, man. There we go, dude. There we go.
Yeah, I have a future on him to hit 1,000 yards for the season. So,
but I mean, I feel that they're just going to be forcing him the ball. And when you look at, they played the Ravens this weekend. You know what I mean? They played the Panthers.
I agree.
Let's just look at their schedule real quick.
I'm gonna go ahead and lock that in right now while we're just sitting here.
It's not. I don't think they have one. It's not out yet, is it?
I don't know. I'm gonna look right now. I'm getting on Outlier and checking it out.
So this is their schedule. They play the Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints. Now, granted, the game at the Chargers, their defense is pretty good against the pass, but I think he's going to be able to do this. So I'm going to definitely be looking to hit that.
It's out, but I think it's only out on Prize Picks right now.
What does Prize Picks have it at?
70.5.
No way. They have it that high?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm doing it, dude. I'll take the over. I'll take the adjusted one.
Yeah, for sure.
Next bet, and we actually are in agreement here. Why do you tell me?
Yeah, I saw your first one. And I thought, oh man, I thought you had some good value here because I
mistyped it. Tuesday's a busy work day for me, man.
It's like I was gonna gloat about you for a minute because that plus 2.5 looked real nice. I took the Cards minus 2.5. I think it was minus 105 when I got it. You might even still be able to get those odds. The Cardinals have lost 6 straight to Seattle, which kind of blew me away. I didn't realize that, and they do know that, and I do think that streak ends now. Seattle is on a 3-game winning streak, and I do think they are due for some regression. Though they have been very good on the road as a team against the ATS this season. The Cardinals are actually very good as well. In their last 7 home games, they are 5-2, 71% against the spread at home. Cardinals have won 2 straight home games by 20-plus points, and they have won half of their games, 3 of 6 by 20-plus this season. One of them was against a division opponent in the Rams. Kyler Murray splits home and away. He's been much better at home, 70% completion percentage to 67 on the road. He averages 8 yards per completion at home versus 6.7 on the road, 104 rating at home to 88 on the road, and he has a 7 touchdown to 2 interception to 6 TDs to 4 interceptions on the road. So with him playing that much better at home, and even though Gino's numbers are up on the road versus home, I trust his Cardinals defense at home. If you look at their games at home, outside of that Washington game, which is kind of an outlier, they have allowed just 13.2 points per game at home. So I can trust them in a revenge spot where they just lost to Seattle 2 weeks ago. They know they're in this spot. They need to win this game. They're in a spot to continue to take a lead for the division. And I think 3 points is a good spot. That Chargers game does worry me a little bit because they did it in 17-15. So there's obviously a possibility we can get a 2-point game here, but I do think 3 points is the right side. I think if we end up closer to game time, I think it will probably be at 3. And I think at that point, people might be playing for a push. So I think 2.5 is a vital number here in this game.
I'm on the same one real quick. I'm in a guillotine league. Should I go heavy on Evans in waivers? Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should go heavy with him. He's definitely going to be someone that's going to be getting the ball a lot.
I agree.
Oh, I did the Cards here, minus 2.5 as well. To me, gambling is all about buying low, selling high. And there's a team right now that is very high in the market, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They have won 3 straight, covered 3 straight, and are now leading the NFC West. People are talking about them as being a potential dark horse to make the NFC Championship game, to make the Super Bowl. We got to pump the brakes on that. I also feel this is a great travel spot. They just played the Cardinals at home in Seattle. Now they traveled across the country to New York, after that, traveling back to Seattle, then back down to Arizona. That is a lot of travel. You mentioned it when you were talking about Murray's, home road splits, how much better he performs at home. I really think the Cardinals are going to be able to move the ball on the ground. They're 6th DVOA rushing this year. PFF has them as the 9th best rushing attack. And the Seattle Seahawks, per PFF, are the 21st worst team defending the run. This was going to take some pressure off of Murray if they're able to lead on Connor, open up the passing attack. Seattle is middle of the road defending the tight end. And guys, I have news for you. As much as everyone wants to talk Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Trey McBride is the best tight end in the NFL right now. He had a great game against them last time. I think that's going to repeat here. Cardinals have the 13th best defense in the league per PFF, 12th best defending the pass, 9th best defending wide receiver runs. Held DK Metcalf to 4 for 59 yards. And when you look at Metcalf against a Gannon defense, averages 6 targets a game, 3 receptions, 35 yards per game. I think you're going to be able to limit DK, and that means you're going to be able to limit Smith in the passing game. Cards are 11th DVOA defending the run. They limited Kenneth Walker to 16 for 41 last game. Against the Gannon defense, Walker is only averaging 60 yards a game and only 3.6 yards a carry. I think Seattle's going to have a hard time moving the ball here. When you look back at the Cardinals game last week against the Minnesota Vikings, how the hell did they not win that game? 77 offensive plays, more total yards, more passing yards, 100 more rushing yards, 10 more minutes time of possession. Literally, they should have won the game against the Vikings. And if they did win the game against the Vikings, I think this would be over 3. I think this would be 3.5. So I think there's a little bit of value here. I think the Cardinals would bounce back. I think Seattle is a little overvalued here. I'm on the Cardinals here -2.5.
Yeah, not to mention James Conner had 8 rushing yards against Seattle last game. So I definitely think he has a huge bounce back game here. I was looking at his rushing yards at 64.5. I might jump on that. I don't know. I got to think about this.
I think they're going to look to run him a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Third and final bet, my friend.
I am going to the Falcons +5.5. I got that also for -105. So I got some pretty good value on these picks. It's kind of an ugly pick, but I don't know. Honestly, I've been looking to try to fade the Vikings all year long. Every time I do, it burns me. I do think this is a good week. I can finally cover at least one spot against them. The Falcons have covered 5.5 in 9 of the last 12 games. They've covered 4 or 5 on the road. And they actually look they impressed me by going into Philly and Tampa, both not just covering, but winning those games on the road. That's kind of nice to have in your back pocket. Kirk also has a narrative here of looking to have a good game against his old team. Also coming off of 4 interceptions versus the Chargers. This is a perfect bounce back spot. I looked back into it, and dating back to 2018, Cousins is 10-3 outright the following game after having multiple interceptions. So I don't even I wouldn't even sniff at the Falcons having a chance to win this game outright. The Vikings do need to lose a game here. I don't think they can keep winning these games. Vikings have been very lucky, I think, in a couple games recently. They have also failed to cover 5.5 points in 2 of their last 3 home games, as well as 3 of their last 4 overall, 5 of their last 7 overall, and 6 of their last 9 this season. So Vikings don't usually cover this. They usually play close games. This could be one where they might actually lose. So I think 5.5 is too many points. This should be like 3.5 or something. 3.
And I say it every week. Who is the hell is Sam Darnold to be laying this many points?
Yeah, well, this is way too many points.
And the Vikings kind of struggled defending the middle of the field. St. Brown really went off against them when the Lions played them. That's where Drake London has lined up. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be really motivated for this revenge game narrative. So, yeah, I think we can. I like this one here. I think.
I wish it was at Atlanta, to be honest with you, but home field isn't always everything in NFL. So
my last one I'm going to the Cleveland Browns plus 6.5. I say it every week. Tomlin as a dog we love. Tomlin as a favorite we fade. As a favorite, 48% ATS. As a favorite of 3.5 or more, 46% ATS. Off of a win as a favorite, 41% ATS. Also, how can you not fade the Steelers after the game Russell Wilson had? This was his best passing game since 2019. That was the second most yards he's ever had, that 440. He had 450 in 2019. I know people will say that the Browns defense is down, but it limited Wilson last game. I know it was in the snow, but I still think it's a good matchup for the Browns. Garrett is the best defender in the league, and even though the Browns are down this year, he's going to be able to get to Russell Wilson. The Steelers have the 23rd best pass blocking line per PFF. I don't think they're going to be able to contain Garrett, especially the right side of the line. Jones, 60th PFF right tackle. McDermott, 58th PFF right guard. Wilson has struggled when facing pressure. Winston, as a dog, getting 3.5 or more, is 65.6% ATS. Also, what would this line be if the Browns won or covered that game against the Broncos? Which, let's face it, they should have. They should have, at the minimum, at least covered. When you look at the box score, they dominated that game. 2 lotto ticket pick sixes, a lotto ticket INT to close the game. 28 first downs, 552 total yards, over 250 more yards than the Broncos had, almost 200 yards more passing than the Broncos, had 84 offensive plays. They dominated that game, and look, they just had some bad luck with the Winston INTs. The Browns would have won it or covered it. I think this line would have been closer to 4, 4.5, not 6, 6.5. I think this number is a little too high. I like fading Tomlin as a favorite. I also think the Browns' offensive line is going to be able to Winston time. I think their defensive line is going to be able to get to Russell Wilson. Look, give me the Browns here, plus 6.5.
I just gotta ask, how many times have you taken the Browns this year to cover, and how many times has it burned you?
Dude, how many times I took in the Browns?
It has to be at least 3 times where you've taken them and they burned you. I can't believe they're not on your banned list at this point.
What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Dude, you gotta have a short-term memory in this game.
I understand, but sometimes a team has to meet a certain standard, and sometimes they just need to go onto a banned list and just don't bet on them.
Let's look at it.
This might be one of those teams you just don't bet to cover too, because every time people are heavy on taking the Browns to cover, they fail, man. They just fail.
Dude, what are you talking about? Dude, I bet them.
No, I'm just asking when you might have picked them on good weeks. They've covered some.
I bet them. I had them on the Ravens. That was. I had them on the Steelers, and I lost last week against the Broncos. They're 2-1.
No, surely you've taken in more times than that.
I didn't take Winston. Dude, not with Winston. Not with what's his face. Watson.
You're a smart man, because a lot of people have been on the Browns this year to cover. They keep blowing it.
I'm looking at my stuff right now, man.
No, that's why I wanted to ask. You're picking them in the right spots. You're picking them in the right
spots.
I
just feel that this number's too high. Winston is Winston. He's going to put you in a position either to win or to blow the game.
Yeah,
we definitely got something going with Jerry Jeudy, and we need to remember a lot of these outside corners don't travel to the inside. Porter's one of those. Porter stays on the outside. He's not going to travel to the inside. That's where Jerry Jeudy lines up. Look, I'm a huge Cedric Tillman guy, but Jeudy actually leads them in targets since the quarterback switch. So I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I'm going to take the 6.5 here, man. I mean,
it is an upgrade. You didn't misspeak there.
I mean, it is. And let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. If you were a GM of a team and your choice for starting quarterback was Geno Smith or Jameis Winston, who are you going with?
Oh, Man, I really was a big fan of Geno Smith last year. I really was. This year, I've lost a little faith in him for some reason. He's really bad at home. He has like 10 interceptions at home. I don't know.
I'm taking Jameis, dude.
Yeah, I'd probably take him, but I really can't handle him. I can't handle his antics.
Dude, I love Jameis. I love Jameis, dude. God,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably take, I don't know, the upside with Jameis. He's, I don't know. That's a tough question, man. That's a really tough question.
Why didn't you do a DFS article this week? I was traveling, my man. I believe I said that last week or even on the podcast. Guys, with the holiday season coming, you know what? I'm a family man, Wade. I don't know about you.
Damn it, give us a DFS article, Eric.
I don't know about you, man, but, I'm a family man, dude. And I was traveling, doing my stuff.
The holidays are a time for sports. And if you're not giving us articles, then we got nothing to bet on. So we're sitting around watching sports.
Hey, you know what? I was here. I did the show last week from my brother-in-law's office.
That's dedication right there, man.
I gave out some winners, dude, but I was traveling back. I was driving back, but
is there a schedule for Christmas around NFL?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple games on Christmas, which is going to be a little bit weird.
My birthday is on Christmas Eve, so I wonder sometimes they have games on that day.
No shit. My mom's birthday is on Christmas Eve.
Man, we should have a drink together.
You and Laura should have a little cocktail together.
Yeah, there's nothing on my birthday, but there are 2 games on Christmas this year, so that's cool.
I mean, dude, that's a weird. So
these are good games on. By the way, these are really good games on Christmas.
Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Texans on Christmas.
It's pretty good games.
And Thursday night, Seahawks and Bears.
I don't hate that game either. I'll watch that.
And then, dude, I'm a little disappointed there's no set. And then Monday Night Football, Lions at 49ers.
Yeah, why isn't there no Saturday game?
That's kind of weird.
Maybe because we got all the college championship games.
Maybe that's because of it.
That's not that then. There won't be anything then. Yeah, why isn't there a Saturday game then?
There's Saturday games on the 21st. Yeah.
That sucks.
Maybe it's because of the bowl games. Maybe you hit the.
Oh, Detroit gets another easy game that week. God, man. They ever going to have a tough game?
Dude, what are you talking about, dude? Dude, you play the teams that are in front of you, bro. Don't be hating because my boys are getting it. Don't be hating because my boys are getting it.
Hey, Barry Sanders was one of my all-time favorite players, so I'm not hating. I've actually never had a reason to hate the Lions. I've always hated the Packers and the Bears.
Don't be
the Lions have never been irrelevant my whole life until like 2 years ago, so I have no hatred towards them whatsoever.
Wade, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come on and talk a little NFL. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media if they want to become part of your Discord and when the videos that you and Mike do come out?
Yeah, just come check me out at Top Flight Wagers on X is where I do most of my activity. I'll post some pics on TikTok or Instagram. YouTube, me and Mike do a football show, usually on Thursdays or Fridays. We release a couple college and a couple NFL picks. I'll talk with him and see how we're going to do it this week with the college conference championships this week. But yeah, just come check me out there. I've got a 50% off code. Use Top Flight, and the link in my bio can get you 50% off the first week or month. Come try me out. And yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm sitting here watching Ole Miss right now. They're kicking butt, dude. They're up 21 points.
I know my +3 is looking pretty solid, dude.
Nice
also,
pick.
Wade's going to be on my podcast this week. Him and I will be sharing our UFC 3 kind bets. So make sure
this is a hell of a card, man. Like every single fight, all the way up and down, top to bottom is good. So
make sure to check that out. And always appreciate you, man. Then best of luck in your wages, my friend.
You too.